Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to WOR, where the championship battle is very much alive. Phenomenal scenes here as we're here at Spa-Francorchamps here at Belgium. And I have to say, we're currently looking upon a fascinating encounter with some of the best in the world on the Xbox platform. I'm also joined by my co-commentator, Miles. Miles, how the devil are you, my friend?
I'm doing good. We had a break week last week, so I'm excited to be back for such an iconic track, which is Belgium. I can't wait for the drivers to tackle the track.
Oh, I got to say, it's going to be brilliant, Miles. Spa-Francorchamps, history in abundance at Spa, of course. And we're so lucky to have this on our calendar, of course, and every season it blows us away. The corners that we're all very well, we know all and love them, of course. Obviously, the likes of La Source going up through Eau Rouge, Radillon, Kemmel Straight, of course, Les Combes, round Bruxelles as well, Pouon, Campus, Stavelot, and then, of course, Paul Frere, Blanchimont, and then through the bus stop chicane, of course. But the championship battle is what we're looking forward to because, of course, Antoine still on top after not managing to score last time out at Silverstone. Viper very hot in his tail as well. In behind, we've also got Keaton Lutt as well. Amazing stuff. He's won the last two races on the spin. It draws up a fascinating encounter, Miles.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Lutt was in form last two races. Not gonna lie, and he looks very challenging now for Antoine. And but I also have to say the likes of Ron Ha, who is in form as well. He won in SRC last week. He won TSRL last week, so he will make it. He wants to make it 3 out of 3. I'm pretty sure. So he's also someone we have to take our eyes on for today, and he's also well within the fight for the championship. I mean, he's only 2 points behind Lutt. Antoine has a bit of a gap, but I mean, we are still only halfway through the season. So there's always possibility for Antoine to lose this championship as well, or for like the likes of Lutt. I mean, he won the last two races, so he's also in form. So much stuff to play for. Today we're in Belgium, and like I said, I can't wait and see who is on top here today.
No, absolutely. It certainly looks like there's quite a divide at the top end. Obviously, Antoine still leads a considerable with a number of points, of course. 93 points against the 64 with Viper, who I have to say is probably the most consistent driver on the track, regularly scoring points. And that's to his benefit. He now lies in P2 in the championship. But let's not count out Keaton Lutt. Remember, he missed the first 3 races. That, of course, Antoine won 2 of those. And as soon as he came in, he was in the points. Only scored 2 points, but then after that, 2 wins on the spin. And you've got to give Keaton Lutt credit. He won them both in cracking style, didn't he?
He did, yeah. I mean, France, he did it in superb fashion. And last time in Silverstone, he also, I mean, that was just a perfectly managed race. If everyone remembers who's just listening to us, just talking here, I mean, he was just superb. I mean, there was nobody who could challenge him. And I mean, that's what real or title contender is. I mean, if you can't be challenged on track for an entire race, and that's what happened with Lutt. He's definitely a championship contender. But also, you mentioned Viper, who, I mean, we have to say he's probably the king of comebacks. You could say. I mean, he was, I think, for the first 4 or 5 races, he was starting outside of the top 10, and every time made it inside the top 10, even finishing second in Bahrain. So he's definitely someone we have to keep our eyes on as well. I mean, he's sitting P2 in a championship for a reason. So definitely someone we have to keep our eyes on, and really, really curious to see what he can do. I mean, Belgium is a driver's favorite track, so I expect so many drivers to be fast around here today.
Absolutely. Well, I just want to say a massive thank you, of course, to all you fans at home, the fans of WOR. We've come such a long way since the start of the season, and the numbers the league's been hitting, of course, the viewer counts have just skyrocketed. And we've enjoyed some incredible, or witnessed some incredible racing, certainly at this league. We've got some of the best in the world competing. Of course, Antoine has made a real name for himself in the world of esports. And he's starting to really, really climb his way through the ranks now and competing with some of the very best on all platforms. Really looking forward to seeing what his future bodes for him, of course. And, of course, he's just recently joined Comrade Gaming as well as a member of CRG. But also in behind, Viper, who has been tremendous this season. season. Keegan Lutt, of course, goes without saying. We've already spoken about his two performances. France and Britain were scintillating, controlled the race. A performance that I think requisite of Lewis Hamilton that we've seen in the past, of course, where you just go to the front and just career away with it, which is absolutely incredible. And looking further back, of course, you've got the likes of Pinecone, who is there as well. St. Critch, who has been right in amongst it, has been scoring some regular points as well. Perondi as well. There's plenty there in the midfield. You've even got LCR Leopard, who arguably has not been running in the same type of form. But obviously, all of them have the capabilities. I don't think we've seen the best of Smasher either, who in the past has been a true world beater. Naturally, we have not seen him quite in that same fettle this season, but coming here to Spa, it's a very different circuit, new opportunities, different cornering, and you could argue probably one of the toughest circuits on the calendar.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's also the longest circuit on the calendar, so there's so much room. I mean, you were going through all the corners, and there's so much room where you can just have a tiny mistake, especially on your qualifying lap. Just a tiny mistake just can throw you in this kind of grid, can throw you from like getting P2 or P1 to only getting P8 or something. So that could always throw you off. So yeah, 1 minute 41, I would say, will be pole, somewhere around that. Yeah, definitely so much room to actually make a mistake or just overstep the mark with track limits, which is also, I mean, it's not the biggest talking point around here. Just coming up with Rouge, Radion, there is your first spot where you could just invalidate your time for in qualifying and get a warning in the race. But there are a few others. I mean, you were talking about Lecombe, where you can just overstep the mark as well, and you have to be on the limit to actually deliver here, and that can definitely happen. So the longest track, and definitely a track where you can make so many mistakes, and you really have to put the lap together.
Absolutely. I mean, we're just coming into the halfway point of the season now, just over Belgium, of course, the tipping point into the second half of the season. And after that, you've got Italy, Japan, Austria, Abu Dhabi, and then the grand finale at Brazil. But just looking at this race in particular, how important, because like I said, we're in the middle of the calendar or just over it. Naturally, if you're Antoine and you're Keegan Lutt, this is this is probably the biggest race of the season, arguably, because it can be the tipping point, can't it? Or certainly lend us forward to what's going to happen for the rest of the season. It's a key race for Antoine in a sense that he's been out of form on the last two occasions and essentially possibly needs a good result here in order to win back a bit of favour, win back a bit of form. But on the other hand, it's a key race for Keegan Lutt to essentially go 3 races unbeaten, but also to try and drag back that points gap closer to Antoine, because, of course, the gap now currently lies at around about 43 points. So, ideally, Keegan Lutt, a lot on the line here, but also a lot on the line for Antoine.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Antoine is in a good position. We have to say he definitely is in a good position with 43 points against that, but we can't exclude the likes of Viper, who's only 31 points behind. So he will be there if something happens to Antoine or Lutt. I'm pretty sure. But just comparing Antoine and Lutt, I mean, Lutt won, of course, the last 2 races and wants to win here as well. Antoine has, I mean, he's in the position that he can live with a second place around here if he can just stay within the 1 second window to Lutt. If Lutt gets pole position, then I'm pretty sure. I mean, there will be an overtaking attempt. I'm pretty sure, because they all want to win on track. And just a quick recap of what happened. I think it was last season around here where Lutt actually just went wide into La Source just to have that little bit of slipstream and have the DRS coming down the Camel Straight and just selling a bit of a dummy. I can't remember who it was. Maybe someone in chat can remember. But you always have to think about those kind of things, because that can make the difference in the end. If you're going into La Source in P1, but just go wide on purpose, just to let the other one go through, so you will have, or you don't have to defend, you can attack. That can always help you, and that can win you a title. And that, I mean, Lutt did it once, so why not do it a second time?
Absolutely. Well, I mean, it's going to be certainly a case of bravery at the end of the day. There is nothing between any of them, I have to say, really, in terms of quality. I mean, we've seen it already, certainly in the past couple of races where Keaton Lutz has stolen the show, essentially, where Antoine has been so competent. But also Viper, you spoke about Viper, certainly the most consistent driver on the track. It has to be said, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he definitely. I mean, he scored double digits every time apart from the Netherlands. So he's definitely one to watch. Pretty sure with his comeback drives and doing a superb job week in week out. And I mean, if he can maintain that, like I said before, he's in P2 for a reason. And I mean, if he can manage that through the entire season, I mean, there are 6 races left. Then I'm pretty sure he will be a title contender until the end, unless Antoine is just smashing the whole field and will just win every single race. Then I mean, very hard to do in a field like we have on a grid like we have here. Yeah, I have to wait and see what will happen. I mean, there just has to be one good safety car for Viper. If he's starting outside top 10, that can always happen. So yeah, just curious to see what Viper can do. I mean, he showed great potential, definitely.
We certainly did. Hopefully, folks, we will get underway. We're just waiting. Unfortunately, we hit with the dreaded Xbox update, and of course, we're just waiting to get back in. And it's going to be an interesting race. I got to say, I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be a high octane, thrilling encounter. Certainly a lot of potentials looking to strike or make their name, certainly in this division, and that's the beauty of this league. Essentially, it's such a valiant league, lots of potential amongst some of these drivers, and I tell you what, we're going to be in for a real humdinger, I think, here at Spa. Obviously, we want to hear from you as well and your predictions heading into this Grand Prix. Obviously, it's going to be exceptionally interesting to see who does take up the banner and effectively. Grab the bull by the horns, essentially. Will it be Keaton Lutz? Will it be Antoine? That is the big question. Will someone new step up and get a win on the board this season? It's questions we all love to answer. I mean, just to survey the current complexity of the season, I mean, Miles, we've had such a wonderful occasion, certainly on many. Well, we've had some amazing races on various occasions. I think which one stands out for you so far?
Oh, that's difficult to say. To be quite honest, you caught me a bit off guard there. I wasn't expecting that one. But I mean, Australia, I think stands out a bit just because there was a wet race. And I mean, if everyone in chat remembers, there was a wet race around Australia where overtaking in the dry is very difficult, and so many drivers made brilliant strategy. I mean, Viper, we were talking about him a second ago. He made a brilliant race around there. I think he came from P17 on the grid to take P4 in the end. So definitely that one stands out for me, just because there wasn't supposed to be that many overtakes around Australia, but there were. So definitely that stands out for me as the perfect race this season. Although I didn't expect that to happen.
No, I have to say it certainly was a corker, and I have to say as well. I mean, I thought Britain was great. I thought we witnessed some hellacious racing through there as well. But I think the performance of Keaton Lutz was just that much more brilliant. I just think it was an epic performance, to say the least, and certainly a very deserved effort as well. I mean, I've got to say, looking at Spa-Francorchamps now, it's going to take a very special sort of driver to take victory here today. It separates the men from the boys, the weak from the strong, and certainly heading into the middle sector, it's unrelenting. Some of the bending curves are absolutely unbelievable. If you have a look at it on paper, heading around the sections of Pouon into Campus, Stavelo, and then into Paul Frere as well. I mean, those are the key points. I mean, if you make a mistake there, that could be a race dead and buried, couldn't it, Miles?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, just a tiny mistake can just cost you the race. And I mean, just coming up also Rouge Radion, and then just I mean, the car gets so light at the exit, and you can just lose it so easily. Like we seen Kevin Magnussen in, was it 2016, 2015? I can't remember. But losing his Renault there, heavy crash, and that can always happen. And that is why this track is so difficult to actually manage a good lap through, and just not lose the car and I mean, especially in the race, you want to be really, really careful, just to not overstep the mark. Don't make any silly mistakes, and just be very cautious. But still, on the other hand, you have to be very quick.
Absolutely, of course you do. Any moment now, folks, we will be heading out to qualify. I can confirm that we're just about to get heading straight into it. A lot of the drivers are already out there, currently bursting off some initial laps, but of course, in the true nature of short quali, naturally they've got quite a bit to get through first before we reach the ending of it. It's going to be really interesting. Obviously, please hit up your top 3 in the section below, or certainly in the chat window, and tell us who you think is going to be on the podium at the end of this, or more importantly, who is going to be on pole for this race. Indeed, I want to hear from you. What do you think the front of the row heading into the race is going to look like? Please hit us up in the live chat. Miles, based on what you've seen, who do you think is going to be on top spot?
I'm just going with Jonas, because I know the TSR boys, the German boys. Let's call them the German boys. Apart from Leopard, they did the league race just yesterday around here, so they are well prepared. And Jonas is known as, or in the community, it is known that Jonas likes Belgium a lot. So I'm going to go with Jonas and just go with him instead of the likes of Lat, Antoine. I mean, there was someone in chat saying someone will get their first good result here. So I'm going with Jonas here today because Jonas, for the potential he has, he's way down the order in the championship. He's only sitting P9 with 32 points after 6 races. So there's definitely room for improvement. And if I had to bet, I would go with him here today.
No, absolutely. It's incredible. And just look at this. We're seeing live feed, live pictures, certainly, here from this coverage here of the Belgian Grand Prix. And Viper now making his way around the middle sector, heading, of course, around this next section at Campus. And he's going to be negotiating Stavolo next in the AlphaTauri and trying to get those tyres warm and not messing about here in this qualifying session. Of course, lots of them choosing to go out on the soft tyres. The only man out on the mediums is WOR Mulder, who is currently out on track looking to post a time on that compound as we're now witnessing what looks to be Viper heading through the next left-hander. And, of course, what he would give for a race win here today. There'd be no better place to do it than Spa. And certainly given the competition ahead, it's going to be very interesting. But have a look at this. 15 cars lined up here today. Antoine and Let both in the lineup, but also Viper. It's going to be a very interesting affair. I'd watch out for Critch as well. Newly signed by VRT, Miles. Certainly looks like a prospect.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he was good when he had Sync in front of his name. And, I mean, VRT, definitely very, very good signing for them. And he was also looking very, very likely to win one or the other race. I mean, he hasn't up until this point, but I'm pretty sure he will be at some point. But also we have to take into account JKB is on this grid, and we all know what he's capable of. I mean, he invalidated his first run there, which is, yeah, I mean, we were talking about that earlier. But, I mean, he's also on the grid, so he's also one we have to take, or we have to consider for pole position here, as I think there was a name popping up. That was Sparks. Sparks also joined, so we are up to 16 runners here. It's also very, very good to see that we have 16 drivers tackling the track here.
Absolutely. Well, Viper now whipping his way around Pouon and now heading down towards Campus, of course, this next chicane. And certainly the Scuderia AlphaTauri team looking to do the business here. Of course, the Italians very much have the upper hand on Ferrari at the moment, or did so last season. Ferrari starting to come into their own this season, of course, in 2021, which I'm sure the Scuderia Ferrari team would be delighted with, but don't count out AlphaTauri, of course. Certainly with this man behind the wheel, Viper is absolutely electric as he now comes around Blanchimont and whipping his way down towards the chicane at bus stop. And certainly braking just after the 100, just bends his car around now. This will be the initial time lended here. Of course, Luca now hitting the top end with a 141, but this will be much more, or certainly much quicker, I would have thought, a 140.794. And that certainly is around 5 tenths faster. So Viper out of the blocks, a very positive time indeed.
Yeah, Mulder now slotting into P3, and Joker into P2 with a 41.3. Jonas now coming up to the line, it's a 40.8. Good enough for P2 for the time being, and there were some guys coming across the line, and with some guys, I mean Antoine, I think, who just invalidated his run. So he still carried on because, I mean, we talked about how long this track is, and that it's the longest track on the calendar. So time is, yeah, very likely for the drivers to only allow them to make 3 attempts on their set of soft tires. And so Antoine just took that opportunity just to stay out, although he invalidated, just to have that delta he needs so desperately, and just can improve on that. And I will quickly have a look at what it would have been if he finished. It would have been a 40.7. So he would have been on provisional pole position, because it was a bit of a faster lap than what Viper did. And now Ronham coming across the line, 40.3. That's exceptional for a banker lap.
Absolutely incredible lap indeed, and that sends him nigh on 4 tenths faster than that of Viper. And of course, we've yet to see, really, I'd say, the best of Ron Hart this season. He's been in the points, but his first 2 races were very disappointing. No points garnered at all at Australia or at Bahrain. And therefore, he was very much on the recovery drive for the rest of this season. Has managed to pick up points in the meantime. He had a respectable race, certainly at the Netherlands. Followed up, of course, by a decent race at Azerbaijan. And then a point-scoring race at France. And then, of course, at Great Britain as well. But now he's coming here today. And what a perfect encounter this would be. Certainly a great opportunity for Ronha to turn the tide. And as we're now witnessing now, Keaton Lutt currently bombing his way down through the latter sectors. But Ronha very much in the clear. 4 tenths is a phenomenal time. And certainly if he can hold on to it, you'd certainly fancy him to take a good result at the end of the Belgian Grand Prix, that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, that was his banker. So there might be room for improvement still. So that's also something we have to consider, as I think Critch is just making his way into the pits. Yes, and JKB is just about to start his lap. So that's the second attempt being out in his Alfa Romeo here today. And but really, for anyone to challenge that lap time Ronha did there, I'm pretty sure everyone was shocked when he crossed the line there. But yeah, just a superb effort by him. And like I said, he's in form at the moment, and he just showed that once again here today with a 40.399 as his banker. Let's see if someone can better him there. I mean, Viper did a 40.7. You said it, 4 tenths clear of him. And I mean, JKB probably the most likely one for the time being to actually challenge for that, but not overstepping the mark. And now coming out of Le Combe, and that's once again the same exact thing that happened on his previous lap, just going a bit wide there and just invalidating his time. So he has to come into the pits and go out once again. I think Sparks is just about to finish his lap though.
He is indeed. He's coming down towards the bus stop chicane now in the black arrow that is the Mercedes. Of course, Spark is no slouch on his day either. Makes his way through bus stop. Looks very neat and tidy through that section. Comes up across the line. What's it going to be for the Mercedes? P4. Very respectable indeed. And funny enough, under a tenth of a second slower than Viper as well. So he's very much in the firing line. Just look at that. The top 4 all in the 140s. And everything from the top, well, certainly 5th place downwards is all in the 141s. And that just goes to show, just look at the deficit between Ps 4 and 5. Nico with a 141.187, and that's approximately 3 tenths of a second behind that of Sparks. So just look at that, and a mass difference there between the top 3, well, certainly the top 4 and P5 downwards. And it's going to be very interesting to see who can break into the 40s. You'd expect them all to do so as the track warms up, and that's the beauty of track evolution, ladies and gentlemen. As we now witness Sparks heading around the next right-hander, of course, down through Bruxelles, now around the corner, no-name corner, heading down towards Pouhon, of course. He'd be delighted with that P4, and he certainly is an improving driver. We seem to see him improve week on week, and it's great to see him up there fighting with the best of them.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. And I think he even lost a bit of time coming towards the line. So coming out of the final corner, I think he straightened the car very, very good, but then lost it, I think, in 4th gear it was, ever so slightly. So that definitely didn't help his lap time. So he could have been in front of, excuse me, in front of Viper and Jonas there. So definitely room for improvement for him as well.
Absolutely. Well, here's Perondi, a little bit of a shake heading through what looked to be Lecom into Bruxelles and out through No Name as well. Didn't look overly clean, but whips his way around Pouon anyway. He's still going for it. Obviously, still sees fit to post a hot lap as he now makes his way down through the next right-hander, now through the next left at Campus. He'll then have Stavolo next ahead, and certainly the Williams team will be looking for hopefully an improved ranking their fortunes, obviously. Last time out, they scored some really, really good points. Currently lying in P4. Critch and Perondi doing their utmost. And it was actually, last time out, it was Perondi who outscored Critch on the last occasion. But he goes out wide. So I take it he's not completing this lap. In fact, Luca is going to be the next one. Well, not Luca, sorry, Crisito, who's going to follow, who's going to come across the line in the racing point. I don't think his lap, actually, I think he might have made a mistake.
I think he's on his in-lap, though. I was following just one lap prior to this, and he just set his time, his 41.1. Also with a big slide coming out of the final corner, so tire temperature is also a big thing around here. Just coming out of the final corner, you just have to have that extra bit of tire temperature in your tires, just to not overstep the mark, just to not have wheel spin coming out of there, maybe just short shift. Coming towards the line, and I think that was what didn't help Sparks there, Crisito there definitely. And I mean, he has 6 minutes 50 still, so he might be good for another 2 laps. He joined the league as well as a full-time driver now in the racing points. So definitely curious to see what he can do. His teammate is just coming about to Blanchimont, but more importantly, Antoine now in bus stop, and let's see what he can do coming out of the final corner, opening up the DRS, now coming across the line. It's a 40.5. He's getting close, but not close enough to actually challenge Ronald here for pole position.
No, and Jakey B's just crossed the line as well to commence his fast lap, so we'll go on board here with Jakey B. And of course, Jake Benham is such a formidable force as well in league racing. He's made his way up through Eau Rouge, clean as a whistle, now heading up through the stretch at Kemmel, and certainly donning the Alfa Romeo. Now heading up towards Lecom, and hugs a lot of the curb on the inside, brakes at the 50, turns in as quick as you like through Lecom now, beautifully done, heading out through the next right, down towards Bruxelles now, and the Alfa Romeo looking to whip its round, trying to tickle the top end, and might just do so if he can get this lap together. A very formidable foe is this man as he now makes his way around No Name Corner, down the stretch towards Pouon. This one, very crucial. If you get this one wrong, you'll know all about it, but he's done it absolutely right. A little bit of oversteer, but he corrects it very well indeed. Comes down towards Campus and rubs a lot of the curb on the inset now through the left-hander as well. You want to stay in the middle of the track, particularly for that chicane. Heading down through Stavolo, and now heading up towards the next right-hander, heading towards Paul Frere. And as he does so, you can see Blanchimont dead ahead. Just look at that under the Armco banner. Down through the next left, the whispers in the trees now as this Alfa Romeo comes through Blanchimont as we speak, heading down the stretch, down through to what will be the bus stop chicane, breaking in between the 100 and of course the 50-meter board, cruising through, looking very sound indeed. Here comes the Alfa Romeo. Jakey B will name himself up towards, surely, up to the top end. No, was that an invalidation there?
It was, yeah. Just coming out of, what was it? I think coming out of Stavolo, no, in the middle of Stavolo, he just went a bit too deep into there and just invalidated. But I mean, he didn't set 2 lap times as of yet, and now did. I mean, just to have that kind of a banker, so still sitting P14, definitely not something where we would expect him to be, but just having that delta time in. And also what I wanted to point out, it's clearing up a bit, George. So times might pick up again. And speaking of times picking up, I think we totally missed that Ronha improved once again.
He certainly did. He's actually knocked off a little bit of time anyway. He's gone. Still remains approximately 2/10 quicker, just over 2/10 quicker than Antoine. And that will certainly serve him well. Keaton Lutz as well is out on a out lap. Very shortly he'll commence his fast lap. And naturally, what it would mean to him to add another victory to his catalogue already from the last 2 races. Absolutely exquisite from Keaton Lutz. But the pressure is on him now. And certainly this is the problem, certainly, when you're down to final 3 minutes of qualifying. This is when you've got to up the ante, especially if you haven't already nailed a lap time. It's very, very crucial that obviously you complete one now within this very minimal time frame, isn't it? So he must be feeling a lot of pressure, Miles.
Yeah, just wanted to point out that as well. I mean, just putting the extra pressure on himself, just not able to set a lap time as of yet, and then just, going into the final run with so much pressure. Maybe he has the fuel for maybe 2 runs, just to be sure, and I think that's why he went out that early. I mean, just look at the track. There's basically nobody out on track. 2 people on their outlap. Crescito just entered the pits, so he has to track all for himself, and that was a cut on the inside, and I'm pretty sure he has to go for another lap if he can, but not slowing down on the ERS, and still, I mean, he's still pushing, which I don't really get, because, I mean, if coming into the pits and going out once again, that surely won't work. So he has to save a bit of ERS and try to go out, or to do another lap on this set of tires. But, I mean, he's still pushing. Maybe just to know where he would have been, just like JKB did. But, I mean, the difference between the 2 of them is JKB still has one more shot at maybe pole position, or at least a good result here in qualifying.
Yeah, well, certainly he does have just that. I will say he's got to get out pretty soon, though, because we are coming down to the final minute and 40 seconds, as we now see Keaton Look coming through the bus stop section, and certainly the bus stop chicane comes up across the line, and Keaton Look, it certainly will be invalidated. He's got to go again. And in fact, he has retired, so he's going to be starting from P15, which is not ideal unless Perondi can set a lap time, in which case he'll be starting from the back of the grid. Absolute scenes here at Belgium.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Sergio Lat starting all the way down where he is right now. I mean, that surely not what we would have expected, winning the last 2 races and then just coming here and unable to set a lap time. But I mean, we were talking about how difficult it is actually to set a competitive lap time around here, and just to not overstep the mark when it matters. And I mean, that caught him out. If JKB can't do another lap as well, and Perondi can't, then we will have a very, very nice recovery trio at the back that might make their way through the grid at a later stage. I mean, doing the opposite strategy, I'm pretty sure that could help them. As there's so many drivers out on track, not that many on an outlap. Joker will cross the line and actually settle a competitive lap time 40.879, good enough for P7, but there are still so many drivers out on track that can improve, and I'm pretty sure they will improve.
Absolutely. Well, we're looking at this man now, Antoine, who's currently in P2, looking to snatch that P1 spot off Ronha. Now, with Keaton Lut down at the back of the tail end of the field, certainly will definitely be that if Perondi can nail a lap time at least. He will have a great advantage in terms of the championship, certainly for now. And again, Antoine will want to make the most of this as he comes around Campus Spens now, down towards what will be Stavolo. And as you can now see, the Red Bull car is certainly not leaving any stone unturned, makes his way through. He's already managed to cut his time by just under 0.3 of a second in Sector 2, so he's whipping round in Sector 3. Antoine is on a flyer, comes round through Blanchimont now, heading down towards what will be the bus stop chicane very shortly. He's looking absolutely good. The Red Bull is looking to sprout some wings here, takes a lot of the curb on the inset in towards bus stop, and certainly as he now comes across the line, will it be enough to go P1? As he does so, the checkered line, Antoine up into P1 there by the slimmest of margins, 0.5 of a second the delta gap, absolutely incredible. But now it's all up to Ronha. Can he tip the scale in his favour? But bear in mind, we have plenty of drivers that could yet take on the P1 charge.
Yeah, Jonas just slotting into P3, so good results as it stands right now for the Red Bull boys, and I'm just following Ronha now, and we will see the second sector split, and he's up by nearly 0.2 of a second there, George. So I mean, bad lap by Antoine, that was phenomenal, but I mean, if Ronha can maintain the pace he has right now, coming out of the second sector, now into the third, now coming into bus stop, can he snatch pole away once again from Antoine? Now into bus stop, that looked very, very tidy by Ronha there, and now coming towards the line, Nico slotting into P7, but will Ronha be on pole? Yes, it will. Brilliant lap there, 40.0. So I mean, the first lap was great. The second lap was even better, and I mean the 40.0 in the actual session. I mean, yeah. Someone pinch me, please.
Well, Miles, have a look at this. Jakey B coming across the line, but he's going slow. It's not enough. He's going to come across the line. It's not enough. Ronhart is going to be on pole. What a scintillating effort to bring it down by just under, well, approximately just under 0.2 of a second, near enough 1.5 tenths. Amazing stuff indeed. The Ferrari team on top order. However, look at the Red Bulls. P2 and 3. Jonas coming into the top 3. Antoine on the front row nonetheless. And a really good performance. You can not take anything away from him. He went quicker towards the end. Just Ron Hart that little bit extra to nail it through on the day. And that is where they'll be starting. Ron Hart on P1. Could this be an opportunity for the Ferrari to taste P1 glory for the first time this season? And certainly he's making a good case for it here in qualifying, but Antoine is still there to stop him. Amazing scenes here. The question is, who's going to lead going into La Source? Ronhart is your P1 sitter here for the Ferrari team with a 140.085. Antoine in P2 for Red Bull. Jonas in P3 for Red Bull. Luca P4, great performance for Racing Point. Viper relegated down to P5, but he's still in the mix. Do not count him out. Critch in P6 for Williams. There you've got Nico in for Ferrari in P7. Days Rombust in P8 for Mercedes. Perondi in P9 for Williams. Crescito there in P10 for Racing Point. Joker and Rossi, Ps11 and 12 for McLaren. Mulder P13. You got Jakey B P14. Keelan Lutt down in P15 with Sparks last of the runners in P16 after a disqualification. But what scenes in qualifying there, Miles. Incredible performance from Ron Hart, firstly. We haven't seen anything quite like that off him all season long, but he finally turns up the heat in what appears to be probably one of the most difficult circuits on the calendar.
Yeah, just to manage that time. I mean, we saw Track Evolution. We saw the sun coming out, so that definitely helped. But I mean, like I said, the lap of Antoine, that was great. But I mean, Ronhard just coming on his final lap. I mean, I said he's in form, and he underlined that to perfection here. But crucial thing around here is, do you really want to start in pole position? Because the run down into Le Combe is basically a full throttle. Just coming out of La Source is a full throttle segment of the track. So if Antoine gets a good start, if Jonas gets a good start, they could challenge him here today for the lead. So Ronna has to play that to perfection here. He has the inside line going into turn 1, but is that really the position you want to be starting in? I mean, I've seen so many races around here, and it's very unlikely that Ronha is going to lead into Le Combe. But I mean, he did it once. He did a phenomenal qualifying lap, and I'm pretty sure he can do that once again. Here in the race, as drivers starting their formation lap, and let's just quickly have a look, George, on the tire situation, which is no real surprise. Everyone outside top 10 starting on the medium tires, top 10, they have to be on the soft.
Absolutely, and obviously it's a very good opportunity for those who are starting outside the top 10 to utilise a different strategy, maybe get a real boon off that as well. Of course, we see it quite regularly in Formula 1 that those outside the top 10 will start on medium tyres or a harder compound, which certainly will play into the hands of the likes of Joker, who's starting on P11, which essentially is the outside top 10 pole position, if you get us. So certainly in terms of that strategy, he could benefit massively off it, and potentially some big points in the offing for McLaren here today. Who are your key eye catchers at the end of the day, Mars? Because obviously we just saw qualifying, maybe not what we expected. Keaton Lutt not able to set a valid lap time, so he's really going to have to look busy and utilise that medium to soft strategy if that's what he does intend to do. It's going to be the only thing he can do really at this stage. What are your thoughts heading into this race? Do you think he can do enough to break into the early stages of the top 10?
I think it depends really. If Jakey B, who is, I would say, on a similar pace than he is, if they work together, then surely there's a chance of those two making it very high up the order. But that really depends. I mean, there won't be rain as it stands right now, as the sun is out, but You never know. Maybe they can go deep into the race. There will be rain. We don't know. So there's definitely room for Lut and JKB to go as high up the order as they can. And I mean, I'm pretty sure they want. They want to do that. And Lut coming here with two race wins in the back. He wants to challenge for maybe top 5. We will have to wait and see. I mean, the pace is there, but having 3 invalidations and JKB having 4. I mean, there could be a penalty being applied for either of them.
Well, we have Days Rhombus and Perondi who have both been disqualified and sent straight to the grid. Obviously coming to the end of the formation that was. But please leave your predictions, folks. Of course, for who you think is going to be, or certainly in the top 3. Leave your top 3 predictions. Miles, who's going to win this race, do you think?
I'm going to go with Jonas once again. Ronha will be P2, and I think Antoine will finish P3.
Well, here we go. We'll soon see if that pays off for you. Here come the lights, folks. Keep it with us. Please leave a like and a subscribe as well. First light, second light, third light, fourth light, the 5th light! And it's pedal to the metal. Go, 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 go! Ronha with a brilliant getaway as well. But look on the outside, Antoine coming to join him wheel to wheel pretty much through the source. But it's all very clean. In behind Jonas as well as Luca, who's become part of the fray as well. But look at Viper. He's coming to the mix as well, going wheel to wheel up through the source. They all string out nicely. Heading on the outset, the AlphaTauri getting a lovely exit out of those bends. Mulder's retired for the session. We've had an incident already. Wheel to wheel motions now with the top 2. Antoine trying to snatch the P1 spot. Defensive goes Ronha, but there's a safety car already on lap 1. Mulder, no doubt the cause of it. He's retired from the session. Scenes at the start, Miles.
Yeah, very lucky there, I think, for Ronha, because Antoine was well alongside him. I didn't catch what happened in the back, but I think, yeah, it's Joker, who's also way down the order, so there might have been an accident coming up with Rouge and Radion. So very, very bad for Mulder to having retired on lap 1. And I think Ronha will take a big breather. That the safety car is out. But the question is now, is someone going to go into the pit lane, fit a set of hard tires and try to go to the end? Because that is well possible for some of those drivers. And if you're well outside, I don't know if Joker has any wing damage, so he might be one to actually, able to try and do that. And he actually has some wing damage, so he will surely come into the pits, fit another set of tires, and then try to salvage something from this race. And if that is staying out on the hard tires, I mean, I'm pretty sure he will take that opportunity. But apart from that, there were not that many position changes, to be quite honest. I mean, Crescito gained 1 on Perondi, who obviously lost 1. JKB, Lut and Sparks gained 2. Joker lost 4. But apart from that, okay, Rossi also gained 1. But apart from that, there was no real, difference. And now there are a few guys actually coming into the pits. Ronha and Antoine coming in. And what I'm pretty sure will be a set of hard tires. Yeah,
key moment in this race. Both Ronha and, of course, and that, as you know, leaves the pit bay on the harder compound. Antoine doing exactly the same. You can see there, lots of them having the same ideas. Days Rhombus also planning to go long on this one. And this will be interesting to see how this unfolds towards the end of this race. We did see the predicted pit stop strategy. They did say or state that it would be around about lap 6 to lap 7 that they might want to pit for the hards, but now they're going to make that early gamble and see whether it pays off. And now this is going to add a little bit of complexity to the way things are going, but now that they're going to be catching up with the safety car, a great opportunity for them, to say the least. The likes of Viper, Jonas, still remaining on the softs, as well as Luca, and it's going to be interesting to see how they pan out as well, because naturally they're going to want to box onto the mediums as they head through this race. But just look at this, Luca as well coming into the top end. Viper is up there as well, and Critch as well, who stayed with them. He has an opportunity as well, so it's a case that they need to get away. Maybe an opportunity as well for the likes of Keaton Lutz, who started on the medium tyres. It might be the case that those who did start on the medium tyres, they might be better off now heading into the latter point of this race.
Yeah, I mean, the soft tyres would be better at this point of the race, and the big plus for Lut and Rossi, who are on the medium tyres, the guys on the soft tyres won't get away for this lap, maybe another one. So that could provide crucial for them, just to not let them get away. And I mean, everyone's back at the queue, so it might be in on this lap already, the safety car. Let's yeah, fingers crossed that will happen. But yeah, that could well be very, very good for the likes of Rossi and Keaton Lutt.
Yeah, well, I'm just thinking because they're going to be on fresher tyres towards the end of the race, aren't they? Because they can take these mediums essentially, closer or longer into the race, which will allow them to box onto the softs. Which, a fresher set of soft tyres towards the end, that is music to anyone's ears. If they can bring that into play, but we'll wait and see as we're now watching them head down towards Blanchimont. So a very different complexity to this race that essentially might have landed into the arms of Keaton Lutt and Flying Rossi. So we'll have to wait and see how this pans out for them. And you can imagine that maybe Antoine, with the clever move, boxing for the hards might have been probably his best decision, because now the medium tyres, the soft tyres at the front are going to be utilised a little bit deeper into the race. It's not going to pay off in terms of their strategy. This could essentially bring those medium tyres into the game. And as I say that, Keaton Lutt now boxes.
Yeah, I was just going to point that out as well. So yeah, definitely screw. We just said maybe he also thought, okay, I would be there either way at the back, or that's where I started. So just fitting the hard tires and go out once again. Maybe he just wanted to be there in case the safety car comes in, but now he will go onto the hard tires, will go to the end, and pretty curious to see what will happen. I mean, Ronna is sitting P7, he has to overtake Rossi, who's currently sitting P6, and is the only guy on the medium tires. Then it's his teammate. I'm pretty sure he won't challenge for that position, although I think Nico also wants to keep with the top 4 there. I'm pretty sure, and maybe has the pace advantage at this point of the race on the soft tires against the hard tires. We have to wait and see. I'm pretty curious to see what will happen, especially for the likes of Jonas, Viper, and Critch. I mean, Luca did a superb lap in quali, definitely, but I think over the season we've seen Viper and Critch being the more consistent drivers, let's put it that way. And I mean, I said Jonas is going to win this race, and I'm sticking with that. I still think he has the potential to win this race. Maybe he can stretch the soft tires a bit longer this time, and then doesn't have to go onto the medium tires that long, or as long as he would normally do. I mean, pit window for the soft tires opens around lap 6, 7, so maybe he will stay out till lap 8, 9, and then go onto the medium tires just to have the fast tires. But he now has to push so much just to try and get away and try to bridge the gap. And as I say that, safety car is in his lap.
Yeah, all the pressure now on those on the soft tyres of the top 5. So they've really got to make something happen here. One mistake and it'll all be over. Of course, they cannot afford to drop down the field. In behind them, they got plenty of, should we say, the crocodiles in the water. Those on the hard tyres looking to put a spoke in the dream. The only man on the medium tyres currently of the running cars is Flying Rossi. It'd be interesting to see how his plan goes off from there. A little nudge there from Viper heading through, and there's actually a penalty. But Jonas has got a 5-second penalty for a severe collision there with Viper. I'm not sure quite what happened. Oh my word. Another nose in the back, this time from Luca, and already they're getting away. And Viper, who I'm not sure quite what went on there. He's actually, I don't have an answer for you there, Miles, but he's gone off the track and has actually let the cars go by. I don't know what to say to that.
He just disconnected, I think, and that's why his ghost car went. I mean, Jonas won't be happy. I'm pretty sure he won't be happy because he has to serve those 5 seconds in the pit lane. So he has to make up even more time. Critch gets a 5-second penalty as well. I don't know about Nico, if Nico's also up for getting a penalty there. But Luca going into the pits, Crisita now getting a penalty. And I think we lost Perondi coming up a Rouge there. And yes, we have. Is there everything set on this on his car? Yes, it is. But I mean, that was a very, very chaotic restart there.
It certainly was. There's a move already. Crescito in behind as well. There you got JKB just looking behind though. Sparks just cruising by the Ghost of Viper. Absolutely unreal scenes after the safety car. JKB trying to slip down the inside. Heading out of Bruxelles. They're heading around No Name Corner. Crescito under the threat here of the Alfa Romeo of JKB, who is absolutely menacing. Coming down through Pouhon now on the hard tyres. Unrelenting driving here from all those in the midfield. They're really going at it here. In behind Sparks as well in the mix, just over 2/10 back on the Alfa Romeo. Might get a chance heading around Blanchimont. They're literally all of them in tandem now, cruising, hightailing around Stavolo. Look at this, JKB getting closer and closer to Crescito, who now is under threat. He's got a penalty to his name as they head around the next right-hander, and of course it's all served up on a plate potentially here for JKB. If he can really land a blow, it will be quite something. Crescito under the threat of the Alfa as they come down towards bus stop. Will he leave a late break? In comes JKB down the inside. Not enough. The door was shut. No move can be made heading in towards bus stop, but he might get a chance now. He's right in the rear wing here of the certainly of the Racing Point. The Alfa Romeo JKB heading into La Source. Nothing between them. They nose, they touch, they ghost on the outset now. They've got this long stretch. JKB utilising the ghost right now. He'll have a chance though. Heading up through a Rouge. He can't do anything about it. Crescito. JKB through, heading up through a Rouge, and certainly the way things are calmed out right now, it's a job to tell who has got that position there, Miles.
Yeah, they're still inside each other, which is a weird thing to say, to be quite honest. But now going into Le Combe. Now I think JKB has the edge, but Crescito is still there. He won't give up the position. Now they're solid once again, and I think now it's JKB's time to set his eyes onto Dace Rumbus, who surely knows what happened there behind him just a second ago, and I'm pretty sure he will be warned what happened there. And just up ahead, I think Ronha is getting under pressure by Antoine, but also very close to the back of Rossi. Nico is there as well. Critch got a penalty. I think he also has 2 penalties now to his name. Yes, he has. And Jonas is just trying to storm away with this race, just salvaging as much as he can on those soft tires with the penalty hanging over his name. He knows that surely he can't get rid of that. He has to serve that in the pit lane, so he knows he has to just go full send right now and just try and storm away with.
Here's Sparks coming around Blanchimont in the Mercedes, now trying to raise up on the Racing Point, coming up towards the bus stop, wheel to wheel this time, a little nudge, a little poke as they make their way through. Brilliant from Sparks, wrestles his way through the bus stop chicane, absolutely scintillating stuff. Critch has retired, we've lost the Williams as they make their way down towards the Source. Chaotic race here at Spa-Francorchamps, but Sparks lands a heavy blow there to that of Crescito, moves up to P8, scintillating drive, what a move. There, round the outside at the bus stop chicane. A very well-deserved P8 indeed.
Yeah, definitely. Great move there by him, and no ghosting involved, which is good to see. DRS is enabled, question mark, because I can't see JKB activating it. Sparks on himself does, and now Lat trying to go down the inside on Crescito once again. So Crescito, it's going very backwards for him at the moment. I mean, he is on the hard compound of tires, but so are all the others, and yeah, now getting pressurized by CRG Lat. I think they're nicer guys to have behind you to actually defend from, because Lat is I mean he showed that week in week out when he was taking part here in WOR, that he is really a force to be reckoned with, and he's trying to make a bit of a comeback drive here right now, pitting just 1 lap later than all the others did, and I think he's net P6 at the moment, maybe P7, I don't know, but at the front, Jonas completely checked out, 4.4 seconds. Nico got a penalty. I think Critch pitted and retired. Oh yeah, I just saw that. But behind, Ronha setting his eyes on Rossi, who's himself setting his eyes on the other Ferrari. So Rossi in a Ferrari sandwich at the moment, as Nico now comes into the pit lane. And I'm pretty sure Ronha will try and overtake Rossi as soon as possible.
Yeah, the strategy is starting to come into fruition now, and it's getting closer and closer. Keaton Lutt now really on a charge. He's currently still behind Cressito, but he's got every chance to really turn things up here as they make their way around the source, down the stretch, and very shortly they'll climb up through Eau Rouge, of course. This very, very historic section of the track where we've already seen some chaos already in this race as they climb their way through this section. Keaton Lutt trying to get closer. Has lost a little bit of time there to Cressito ending up through Eau Rouge. There's chances though above as we're now seeing Jakey B climb through on Days Rhombus, the Alfa Romeo, having a sterling drive here today. What an absolute top performance from Jakey B, climbing up to P5. A great drive indeed. He's passed 2 Mercedes. Exceptional indeed. Cressito going backwards and now at the mercy of Keaton Lutt. Sparks having a look all over his teammate. It's been a crazy race. First 7 laps in. I tell you what, it's just what the spectators have been wishing for.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I mean, that's what I meant when I said JKB and CRG Lutt starting outside of top 10 is really good for this race. They're coming back now through the grid. I mean, they pitted all during the safety car, but now they are on equal machinery, and it's just pure pace. And JKB just overtaking Days Rhombus there, now setting his eyes onto Antoine, who tried to salvage something from Rossi being very, very harsh at defending there. And now Antoine is pushing his ERS into Blanchimont, maybe just lunging up a move on Ronha potentially into bus stop, not really thinking about it. I mean, that definitely helped Jonas up ahead, that Rossi just didn't let Ronha go at all. And now into the pits goes the second Red Bull. JKB setting the fastest lap of the race, and now I'm curious to see where Jonas comes out in all of that. I mean, he will be on the fast tires, but he's still standing, and those 5 seconds, they are really hampering this race here.
You certainly are, but look at this. We've got a real tussle for the lead here, heading up through Eau Rouge. Ronha with a lovely run here on the McLaren of Flying Rossi, who won't be flying much, well, for much longer to say the least, because Ronha just scoots past there, but this could be a 3-wide occasion, because here comes Antoine coming to join the fray, moves up to P2. 2 moves are made against Flying Rossi there, who moves from P1 down to P3. A double blow there for the McLaren, and those medium tyres can still go a considerable distance. He's still got plenty of time to go on them, but Ronha and Antoine, who've essentially already committed to their stops, they are now in pole position for a very, very positive result to the end of this race. It's now going to be a real Concord duel between these two top-end drivers here in WOR, and this is something we've all wanted to see right throughout this race. I mean, what can we expect here, Miles? Antoine v Ronha, essentially for the lead of this race.
Yeah, but don't rule out JKB, who's just behind Rossi, so he just wants to try to make the move. I mean, he did superb moves there before on Days Rhombus, on Cressito, so he will try and go by Rossi and just try to reattach to Antoine and Ronha, or to attach to them. Sensational comeback drive for him for the time being, and I mean, Ronha and Antoine, they showed in qualifying already how quick they are around here. And I mean, Ronha with the superb pole, and Antoine is now pushing, his Red Bull to the limit. And really curious to see what will happen. Antoine braking very late into the source there, and now will he push it? I don't think so, because I mean, he knows that the race will actually come later, or the overtaking attempt might come later for him. As it stands, there's no rain involved. We're on lap 9, and I'm pretty sure it's safe to say there won't be any rain. But I think Antoine is just cooling down his engine as he just, drives a bit more to the right than Ronha does. Bit off the racing line, so just trying to cool down his engine there. And JKB unable to overtake Rossi there, because Rossi also has the DRS of Antoine. So very, very difficult position there for JKB for the foreseeable future now.
Yeah, well, Cressito having a very stressful race as well, because look who's behind him, Keaton Lutt, who I have to say is a very, very heavy weapon, certainly when it comes to league racing, and especially after winning the last 2 races, of course, at Silverstone. And, of course, at France as well, Paul Ricard. And what an absolute tremendous occasion that was indeed. Cressito still holding on to that P7. The Haas, though, is ever probing and ever prominent. Could yet put a spoke in the wheel, that is, of Cressito in P7. And Keenan Lurt on for, or certainly hunting for respectable points here. He wants to try and bring the gap as close to Antoine as he possibly can. Of course, his chances at a pole position or a higher starting grid position were made pretty much rendered useless there in qualifying after an invalidation towards the last stages of qualifying, but they're all just winding their way through now this sector. All of them bunched up pretty much in close proximity as they make their way, shuttle through the bus stop chicane. Still leading is Ronha, 0.6 of a second, the delta gap between him and our championship leader Antoine, who is now tucked in behind him. Also flying Rossi part of this, as well as JKB, as they now hightail their way up through the first sector of the track. All of them approximately 5 to 6 tenths apart from each other. It really leaves us for some very fascinating racing, and you'd have to expect Rossi to pit potentially in the next 5 laps.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. And just look at the train we have at the front. I mean, there are 7 drivers fighting for the win. If you count out Rossi, there are 7 drivers fighting for the win here. I mean, Cressito has a penalty, Lutt has a penalty, but there's always potential, and Cressito gets another one there, which is sad to see, to be quite honest. So he rules himself out of any contention to challenge for a podium here today. Yeah, really interesting situation we have here right now, because I don't know about the tire situation towards the end. I mean, they were into the pits very early, everyone was, and I don't know if those tires will be easy manageable, let's put it that way, George, easy manageable until the end of the race, or if they really have to look after their tires, because I mean, being on hard tires for such a long time, and I mean, it could well work, but it could also go the other way. Also depends on how can you manage your tires?
Well, look at this now. I have to say, Miles, this is getting really saucy now for P7. Cressito is under pressure, because here comes the ever-prominent Keenan Lurt, 2-time race winner, coming down towards the bus stop chicane now, wheel to wheel, late break, a lock-up, but it's not enough there for Cressito, because probing and passing him there, Keenan Lurt, absolutely brilliant expertise in abundance in the Haas, tremendous stuff indeed, and he's now beginning to close on Sparks now. He's got 2 Mercedes ahead of him now, trying to really push and make his way out of the source, cruising, hightailing up through Eau Rouge now very shortly. It's going to open the door potentially now for Keenan Lurt for a positive result here today. Absolutely extraordinary, but a great bit of racing. We're at the halfway point, lap 11 of 22, and that is exactly what he needed to do. Made the crucial passes. Antoine now looks to get close to Ronha. We got a real close fight up in the top 3 there, Miles.
Yeah, that's really tightening up at the front. I'm pretty sure Antoine just wants to push Ronha into a mistake or something, because I mean that could well happen. I mean, we saw with so many drivers that happened for so many people here today, so that could well happen for the likes of Ronha, or maybe Antoine as well. I mean, Rossi is still within them, or there or thereabout, with them, but I mean, he will be gone in, I think, maybe 2 or 3 laps. So then it's a fight, and then we will have a fight for the lead. And I'm pretty sure, I mean, we saw JKB doing that multiple times. Just, I mean, he isn't the kind of guy who's sitting around in P3 and just waiting for something to happen. He makes it happen himself, and I'm pretty sure that's what he wants to do as well. I think he's just praying for Rossi to finally go into the pits so he can have a bit of clean air and just, yeah, go to the back of the Red Bull there. And I don't think he will have that favor by Rossi as of now. But yeah, it's really tightening up at the front, but also Sergio Lutt, who can now set his eyes onto Sparks. Sparks just lost the DRS, but he actually was well within the DRS there, though. And yeah, now into La Source. I don't know what it is, George, but Sergio Lutt outbraking himself every single time they're going through La Source.
He certainly is. He's really trying to push, I think. And as they make their way up through, of course, at this moment in time, still Ronha owning that position for now. But just look at this. It's getting really close at the top. Just look at them hightailing through. They're maintaining a similar delta gap. Not a lot between them. Keaton Lutt, though, getting very close. He is really pushing right now. He's getting as close to Sparks as he possibly can, leaving every breaking point to the last minute. And as they make their way down the stretch now towards Bruxelles, still the Mercedes in tandem. P's 5 and 6 running wide there slightly, Sparks. That's not going to help him in terms of the time indeed. And we've lost Crescito. He's out of the race. That's a DNF. And it looked like he was around Bruxelles. That's another safety car. Another safety car, which I have to say is the perfect time for Keaton Lutt to obviously utilise. I think he could possibly pay that penalty in the pit lane, I think.
No, that's a corner cutting penalty, so he can't, George, actually. Only 3 seconds, and you can't just sit that one out. But you know who's back into contention to win this race? It's Jonas. Because he's on the first set of medium, or relatively first set of medium tires. Everyone ahead of him is on a set of hard tires. I mean, Rossi is also going into the pits, I'm pretty sure. Now is the question, what will everyone else do? Will they pit? Or will they stay out? I mean, let's just jump on board with Ronha and let's see what Ronha will do. And Ronha is actually coming into the pits there. So is Antoine. Rossi, of course. JKB is staying out, crucially. Dace Rhombus into the pits. So is Sparks. So is Lutt. And let's just wait and see what Joker does. I think he has to just stick with his Delta. And he's also coming into the pits. So is Perondi. And is Jonas coming in? No, he's not. Maybe Jonas is just going and trying to go, actually. He's actually pushing his ERS, but that might be a lost cause there to come out in front of Ronha. He's just pushing that to the absolute limit. And is he coming out in front of his teammate? Yes, he is. That is a very good position Jonas is in, but crucially, we have 3 different tire compounds in the top 3 there, George, and that is spicing up things a lot.
It certainly is, and naturally the safety car is probably going to be out for another lap after this. You can imagine that the getaway will probably be around maybe lap 14, lap 15. We'll have a look, obviously, the next couple of laps. I'd estimate possibly lap 15. With the way things are strung out right now, because Luca is still in the pit lane. Viper, of course, still out on track, albeit I think that's his ghost going around the circuit. Nico down in P11 has still got a fair ways to climb as well as Sparks and many others, but certainly the way things are stamped out right now, Ronha is in the perfect position. So is Jonas. Antoine in the mix as well as Flying Rossi, but you've got to think that maybe JKB made a crucial error not boxing at the same time as well, because he is now a sitting duck on hard tyres, and that's not going to lend themselves well heading into the last stages of this race.
Yeah, definitely, and not against fresh set of soft tires. I mean, relatively fresh. I'm pretty sure you used that set of soft tires in quali as well. Maybe it's a fresh set though. We never know. Crucially, also, Sia Gilad and Vera Perondi are on a set of medium tires, so they maybe thought the soft tires might not make it till the end of the race, and maybe they know something we don't know. But I'm pretty sure the soft tire is the tire to be on here right now. And I mean, Ronha has the big advantage of having one car between him and his nearest competitor, Antoine, who's also on a set of soft tires. And although I'm pretty sure Jonas won't challenge Antoine at all for that position, and Jonas just wants to stick with Antoine. But all of a sudden, George, Rossi is well within this race to actually challenge for a podium here today. And I'm pretty sure nobody expected that.
No, I don't think they did. And they're making their way now down towards the bus stop chicane. JKB still leading the contingent around, but it's a good day potentially for Ferrari, and yet to score a win this season, and it could be done here at Belgium if Ronha can keep it together. Of course, Jonas in behind on medium tyres. Those tyres will go longer, as we did say before. Well, will they? They have got 5 laps already acquired on them. It might be the case that they equal themselves out to that of the soft tyres as well. We'll have to wait and see. Antoine there as well in the firing line. Both Red Bulls actually well within the fight here, and could be a great day for them. They're currently topping the constructors' standings with a considerable margin, approximately just over 52 points that separates them and Haas currently in the championship. And of course, Haas's best prospect, Keaton Lutt, on fresh medium tyres, currently lying in P6. So do not write off Keaton Lutt, albeit he has got a penalty. But should the race get to the point in, say, lap 20, his tyres might be feeling a lot better than that of Antoine, Jonas, and, of course, Ron Haar as well. So do not count out Keaton Lutt. But, of course, it's going to be a straight shootout towards the end. All these drivers will be putting everything on the line when the safety car comes back in. I can only imagine it's going to come in this lap, heading into lap 15. It's going to be an incredible situation here, folks. I cannot wait to bring this to you. And please leave your comments in the comment section. We want to hear from you. Who do you think is going to win this Belgian Grand Prix? What are your thoughts, Miles?
Very, very difficult question. I would go with Ron Haar now, to be quite honest. Being on a soft tire, having, your nearest competitor 2 cars behind you, which could provide crucial. So my money right now would shift to Ron Haar. But you never know. You never know. There might be another safety car. There might be something else happening. You never know. But at this point, I would go with Ron Haar. Also, George, it's a bit overcast now. So there were some clouds coming in where we had, a whole lot of sunshine at the start of this race. Belgium never disappoints. I mean, we had the same issue in qualifying, and I hope the safety car will come in now, just to give us a lot more race action. Viper has reattached, and there are the lights going out at the safety car. Let's hope there won't be any crashes during the warm-up phase here. And can't wait for the restart.
No, not at all. The safety car just powers on through now. And the grids, or the classification of cars now. And Jonas with another time penalty, I believe, after a contact with Ron Haar, who also has a penalty, crucially, as well. So at the top end, it's starting to tighten up here. And Jakey B now, the clocks must be ticking in his head, because obviously, if he can keep these cars behind him till the end of this race, it's going to be very tough. Certainly given the fact that the softs are going to have a quicker getaway than that of the hard tyres. He needs to stay in proximity of them, because obviously with the time penalties applied as they get underway, a good getaway from Jakey B, to be fair there. Got away very crucially. Ron Haar caught napping at the start, and that crucially has landed nearly a whole second of advantage there for Jakey B, but just crucially inside 8/10 now, Ron Haar, as they come through La Source now this time. Of course, the hard tyres will be warmer, I would think, essentially, but they have been given an opportunity to put some heat into those tyres during the safety car. Ron Haar creeping away from Jonas, has broken a second already on him. Ron Haar knows he needs to try and batter down the hatches on Jakey B now. Put something in between him and the cars behind. The Alfa Romeo was sitting duck. That Ferrari engine Alfa Romeo now bearing witness to his Ferrari counterpart. Now making a move, heading up through Lane Com. Go wheel to wheel now on the outset. Brilliant from Ron Haar. Brilliant. The Ferrari hits top spot from the get-go. A sensational move heading through Lane Com. They move down towards Bruxelles. Antoine still in P3. Now chasing Jakey B. What a move. A crucial move by Ron Haar there, Miles.
The most crucial move, and that was a brilliant one into Le Comp around the outside, which turned to the inside. Brilliant move there by Ron Haar, and that was a very crucial one. I mean, I'm pretty sure those 5 seconds can be erased at the end of this race, but we have to take it as it is right now. So Ron Haar will try to get away, just in case, I would say, just trying to get away. And I mean, Antoine is not that close. He had to really push to overtake his teammate Jonas there. Roddy also slipped through when Antoine overtook Jonas there. There's one car between them at the moment, which is Jakey B, who will have the slipstream, as now there's a move for P8. Sparks going down the inside there of Joker. And
blimey!
That was Pironi.
Yeah, Pironi, Nico as well has got wing damage. Pironi was taken, pretty much flew through the bus stop section there, and Nico has retired from the race as well. He is out. Ferrari now one-legged with their man Ron Haar at the top end, who's crucially broken a second gap. That is going to be looked at, I'm sure, at the end of the race. But look at Antoine now. He's now got Jakey B, and he's going to eat him up here through the straight, the Kevel straight, the inside line for the Red Bull, giving him wings here at Belgium. Slipping into the slipstream is Jakey B, but he has no answer for Antoine now. It's now going to be the tussle we've all been waiting for. Ron Haar v Antoine. It's been cooking all race. We're now going to see it. Soft tyres applied on both cars. Who's going to come out on top? What a race we have in prospect here, Miles.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Antoine is now also within that 1 second, which is very, very crucial. And he's pushing his battery to the maximum just to stay within that 1 second. I mean, it might have been, would have been the perfect opportunity for Ronha to try and get away, to try and break that 1 second window. He didn't take it, so now he has to face Antoine, who is well within that 1 second. I mean, just within that 1 second, but I'm pretty sure if he's just pushing the overtake button, he will be within that 1 second. And I'm also pretty sure we will see another fastest lap of some of those, or of one of those guys. I'm pretty sure it might be Ronha, might be Antoine though. We don't know at the moment, so we have to wait and see for that. There's also a fight, ramping up for P5 between Jonas and Lat. But crucially, we have to stay with the top two here. I mean, we're only on lap 17 right now, as Antoine now sets the fastest lap. There will be DRS involved, but also for JKB, that will also be crucial. So Flying Rossi can't get through on him for the foreseeable future. And that's also very crucial. And just look at Antoine's ERS. It's all the way down to 3%, George. So he just used so much just to get within that 1 second window of Ronha.
But what about this? What about this? So Keaton Lutt, though, powering through in P6. He is now going to leave Jonas for dead down the outside. Just look at the straight line speed on the Haas. He's got the more feasible line heading into lane comp. Smoothly does it there. Keaton Lutt moving through the field up into P5. Great racing here. And certainly those medium tyres have got plenty of life on them. He can really push here as he locks up, heading through Bruxelles. And that certainly is just a testament to how hard he really is pushing. He wants to try and get the most out of this race. He's already within a second of Flying Rossi and might yet do something here. If he can get close to the McLaren, that'd be such a statement. I tell you what though, Miles, if things stay the way they are right now, Ronha will jump all the way from P4 in the championship right up into P2. So this is a very crucial race for him now. The Ferrari driver in with a great opportunity to close the gap on Antoine, who will still remain at the top of the field, of course, after this race has completed. But I have to say, Ronha, with everything to gain here today, 2 places up in the championship would be no mean feat, but look out for Keaton Lutt. I get the sense there's going to be fireworks by the end of this race.
Yeah, crucially also, Ronha broke the DRS now to Antoine, and Antoine, I mean, JKB is making inroads once again, and he's not letting go of Antoine. He also sees the light coming on at the back of the Red Bull, so that is the best indicator that Antoine just pushed as much as he could just to stay with Ronha, but JKB surely knows the gap that Antoine has to Ronha right now, and he might be up to actually grab P2 here, as there's a swap between both of the Mercedes there. Sparks getting the better of Days Rhombus here, but I'm pretty sure he wants to fight back, and Sparks has no ERS. That was maybe not the smartest move of Sparks going into the source, and now opening up the DRS, whereas I think Sparks, yeah, he's just running on 0% ERS down the Camel Straight, and yeah, that was not the best opportunity you could take. There's also a fight going on between Joker and Luca, but it's a better end for Joker for the time being. And just look at Ronha, he's completely checking out at the front there, George.
He has indeed. Ronha is absolutely flying. He's nearly 2 seconds clear on Antoine, which is absolutely crucial. Now Antoine's got a different fight on his hands because JKB is closing. Sensational racing here, given the fact that he's on 15-lap-old hards, but yet still staying in tow of the soft tyres of Antoine. Absolutely incredible as they wind their way through the next section at Campus. Now very soon to be Stavolo, as they now wind their way through. Incredible stuff here in this Belgian Grand Prix. Not the result we had in mind, but Ronha bringing the party with us here today. He knows he's got a penalty, and if he can at least spring out the time delta, which I think is exactly what he's doing, he's trying to leave no stone unturned. If he can get as much time applied, he's got 4 laps to do it, and if he can crucially break the difference, certainly given the penalty, that will secure that P1 for him as Flying Rossi now heads into the bus stop chicane. He's got Keaton Lutt gaining all the time on him here. Those medium tyres will come into effect now very, very shortly. I can estimate that lap 20 is when they will come to life as they now crawl up through towards La Source now. And you've got a good feeling here about Keaton Lutt. He could potentially score something really, really good for himself here, because in behind him, penalties are littered across the grid. He's got at least a P5, I would reckon, in the offing here. But if he can get a little bit higher up, I'm sure you wouldn't write him off.
Yeah, also a move being made now, I think, by Days Rhombus on Jonas coming down the Camel Straight. Jonas is just, he doesn't have anything to fight with. No ERS and no tires. I mean, just look at the tire difference. He's on 10-lap-old medium tires, and those are looking very unlikely to actually I mean, he will make it to the end. No doubt about that. But those tires looking very unlikely to challenge the soft compound runners, Sparks, Joker, Luca, who are all coming from behind. I mean, just look at how Dace Rhombus just overtook him there. And also 8 seconds hanging over Jonas' name, which certainly won't help. But just focusing a bit more up the front, like you did. I think Lat has the problem at the moment that... Oh, now that's a crucial one. That's a very crucial penalty. Antoine gets a penalty. Sparks losing the car, coming out of...
He's out. He's out.
Oh, and there's a virtual safety car. And there's rain. George, there's rain.
There's rain here as well. It's all happening here at Belgium. Weather conditions as well as safety cars. We've had 2 safety cars. The wet weather pouring down. Sparks in the Mercedes has lost it. Mercedes now one-legged with Dace Rhombus. We're down to 11 cars here at WOR for the Belgian Grand Prix. I said to you, this track offered nothing but thrills and spills, and once again we've seen it. I have to say, we have not seen anything quite like this though. The way things are panned out right now, if Jakey B can get as close as he can, he could well still be in the fight for this. He's got no penalties. He's got 17-lap-old hard tyres. There's only 2 laps to go. The way things are sat right now, with the VSC, they're about to get back underway here, I think. But as the rain continues to fall, those on the soft tyres are going to start to lose the effects of this. This could effectively really cause some problems. Perondi's retired as well. We're down to 10 cars here. Absolutely incredible scenes. As now we're witnessing as well, Viper starting to move up through the field as well. He's come back into the race and now trying to challenge Luca for P9 as they wind their way through. We got Joker making a move on Jonas, who's cruising down the field as well. Pandemonium here in WOR, the Xbox Tier 1 League. Absolutely incredible. Viper still might send it here, coming down the inside of Bruxelles. No, he hangs off. But naturally, it's going to really complicate things now. Everyone having to cope on softer compound tyres in wet weather conditions. Unthinkable scenes, unfathomable scenes, absolutely inhuman scenes here, Miles.
Yeah, Belgium never fails to amaze. Have to be honest there. There's always a bit of rain involved, and I mean, would have been a race. Would it have been a race around Belgium when there would not have been rain? I don't think so. So there is the rain coming down now for the final couple of laps. We have nearly 2 laps to go now. Ronha tried to check out at the front. I don't know what happened there at the restart. Maybe just Antoine got the better of him, and Jakey B not really able to put a lot of pressure on Antoine there. But Ronha, I think he lost like nearly a second there to Antoine. I mean, always depends where you're caught when the virtual safety car ends. But I think Jakey B is looking very likely to actually win this race in the end. I mean, Ronha tried to check out, didn't work because there was a virtual safety car coming. And Flying Rossi, all of a sudden, I mean, nobody had him in contention for any podium, and now he's there and might be even challenging Jakey B for the race win. If there's a possibility coming up, I'm pretty sure he will take it.
Well, I have to say, folks, we're on the penultimate lap of this race, and I want to hear from you. Who is your driver of the day here? I got to say, in this very, very crazy Belgian Grand Prix, please hit up the live chat section and tell me who you think is your driver of the day. Miles, I know who mine is, I think, but do tell me who you think yours is.
Might have to go with Flying Rossi here, to be quite honest. I mean, just look at how many positions he made up. I mean, he made up 10 positions, and I mean, JQB also made up. No, he made up 8. Lat made up 10. JQB made up 11. But out of the 3 of them, for Flying Rossi, it was most unlikely to actually be where he is right now, to be challenging for a podium here today. And he's just trying to do that, and he is well within the reach of a podium. So I would go with Flying Rossi, but I'm pretty sure you will choose someone else.
Well, I think Jakey B has definitely got my vote. I have to say, a sterling drive, 18-lap-old hard tyres that he's surely going to take to the end. And I got to say, an incredible drive to gain 8 places, given the circumstances, and still remain within a second, technically, of Antoine as well. That is no mean feat, and I have to give credit where credit's due to that of the driver of the Alfa Romeo. He's still fighting to stay in the DRS, and he's doing it exceptionally well. But I have to say, Keaton Lutt now starting to probe on Flying Rossi, and you have to wonder whether Keaton Lutt might have something up his sleeve here, because now that he's on the medium tyres, those softs are going to start to feel a bit sick now around lap 8, and I did predict that the mediums might come to life before the end of this race, as they now fly up over Eau Rouge, which is going to be exceptionally tricky in these wet weather conditions. Keaton Lutt looking to set the bar alight here as they make their way through the Kemmel Straight. P4 in the offing here for the Haas driver as they come up through towards Lake Com. Things getting tricky. They're getting sticky. It's Keaton Lutt, wheel to wheel with Flying Rozzy, pushed out wide. He fights back. It hugs the turf, but well defended. Flying Rozzy, leaving no stone unturned. Keaton Lutt did all he could. A lock-up, though, heading round Bruxelles. I'm sure he'll try again, but what an exceptional encounter round Lake Com. Incredible, Miles.
Yeah, very well defended there by Flying Rozzy, but CRG Lutt might have another go coming into the bus stop chicane because he has more ERS to play with, and he might have the tire advantage at this point in the race. I mean, you were talking about that, the medium tires coming to life at the end, and just look at the front. I was just about to point that out. Ron Haas is just trying to stretch those 5 seconds he has to JKB, and let's just wait and see if Keaton Lutt can actually challenge Flying Rozzy through Blanchimont into the bus stop chicane. He's just pushing the overtake button there to maximum. Just, yeah, set that off once again. Now through Blanchimont he goes, and now he will surely press the overtake button once again. Now going around the outside into the bus stop chicane, side by side, bit of wheel banging, but CRG Lutt has the advantage. Going in front of Flying Rozzy there. Ronha winning the race. Just, I've never seen that one before. He's just par with JKB in the end.
Well, Ronha is your winner. He takes the Belgian Grand Prix. A little bit of an underwhelming finish because we were watching the battle between Keaton Lutt and, of course, that of certainly the McLaren. But obviously, Ronha, sensational victory nonetheless. Very well deserved. His first win of the season. JKB picks up driver of the day, and certainly I would agree with that as well. But obviously you can have your say in the live chat. But what a win for the Ferrari. Absolutely exceptional performance. And we witnessed certainly an instant classic here at Spa, of course, for many different reasons. It was a very hectic race. Very different to what we've seen all season. But amazing indeed. You've got to give credit to everyone concerned. JKB as well. What a drive to claim that P2 spot. And you've got to give him every bit of credit as well. But I have to say, what an incredible race. Miles, obviously looking at it on paper, we witnessed something really special today. What were your thoughts after that? Flying Rozzy also getting on the podium.
I mean, I'm still speechless. What happened there with JKB and Ronha? They are equal coming over the line when the penalty was applied to Ronha. I've never seen that before. I mean, I've seen like 11,000s in the end, but I mean, never seen something like that. But credit where credit is due. Hats off to Flying Rozzy, to JKB, but also to Ronha, just opening up that 5-second gap in the end. And I mean, he's now well within the fight for the championship. Antoine only finishing P4. That's very crucial for the championship. Keaton Lutt finishing P5, also very crucial. Dace Rombus in P6, Joker in P7, Viper P8, Luca P9, Jonas P10, with a lot of penalties. I don't know why they were applied, but either way, I've never seen something like that before. But yeah, it was a phenomenal race with rain in the end, with so many safety cars, so many different strategies, and I mean, it paid off in the end.
It certainly did, and obviously we lost quite a number of drivers as well. Perondi, Sparks, Nico, Crescito, Critch and Mulder, of course, all out of the race. But what a drive. Viper managing to scoop up 2 places towards the end as well. Remember, he was in P10 earlier on at the start of the final lap. But Ronha, what a victory. His first victory in WOR this season. Very well deserved indeed, with JKB taking P2. Flying Rozzy, what a drive in P3. Antoine down in P4 for Red Bull. Took the fastest lap though, so you've got to give him credit for that. But Keaton Lutt, what a drive as well to take P5 from P15 on the grid, folks. But I hope you all enjoyed that one. That was absolutely out of this world. We were treated to a dogged display by all of these guys who put their best on the line, and we very much enjoyed it. I hope you guys did at home as well, because we certainly did. Obviously, I want to hear from you. Leave your comments down below. We're hoping maybe we'll get some driver interviews. We'll have to keep our eyes open for that one. Just trying to keep, we'll certainly keep you updated as things carry on. But what a phenomenal display nonetheless. It was a pleasure bringing you the action, of course, folks. We witnessed certainly one of the classics, I think, this season for different reasons, and it's nice to have different races to talk about. It just had everything, that race, didn't it, Miles? We had 2 safety cars, a VSC, we had the rain, and only 10 drivers finished. We went from all 16 drivers down to 10. 6 did not finish.
Yeah, but we were talking about that during qualifying, how difficult this track is and how many drivers will be caught out by that. And I mean, 6 drivers were caught out by that, and we only finished with 10. So I mean that happens. Let's put it that way. And I mean, virtual safety car, you named it. I think that race had everything. Apart from maybe a different guy who was leading the race. I mean,
Yeah.
Jonas was leading the race at some point, but he had to pit. So Ronha was always in that race leader, and he just never looked back. I could say, or we could say, um, pretty much reminded me of what Keaton Lutt did in Silverstone.
Certainly did. And I have to say, credit to Ronha. I mean, I have to say it was a deserved performance. He definitely was probably the better man on track. But I have to give, if I was to give, I'm going to stick with JQB certainly for driver of the day. Definitely. I think, working those hard tyres the way he did, it was a huge effort to get from where he started. 8 places gained all in all. In fact, he gained 9 because he got the second place. You cannot write off a performance like that. Very well deserved for that man, of course. But incredible stuff, to say the least. And it does provide Ronha with a huge jump in the championship. He's now up into P2 and also closing the gap on Antoine as well at the same time, because, of course, Antoine didn't come home with the big points today, folks. So it's going to make the championship battle a little bit more thrilling. Do not count out Keaton Lutz as well. Remember, he scored points as well. A very big 10 points as well will be going to him, despite, obviously, getting the penalties of the accrued and starting from the back of the grid at the start of the race. That 10 points will put him on 62 points, and therefore very, very close to the likes now of Ronha, who is on 75. So we got a pretty even split. Viper, unfortunately, one of the bigger casualties. He's going to drop further down the order, and therefore, I think outside of the top 3, which is quite something. But I have to say, guys, what a phenomenal race, to say the least. Miles, obviously now we're going to look towards the latter point of the season as well. We've got Italy coming up next, Monza, the Temple of Speed. Is there any driver in particular you see that suiting? Will that be more of a track for Ronha, perhaps, given his ability to cultivate lots of pace in the straight line?
I mean, could be. Temple of Speed coming up. Yeah, you named it. Italy always delivers some great overtaking opportunities. I mean, from the point of view of strategy wise, I'm pretty sure will be the same as we had here. Typically, we would have had here. Really looking forward to it, and I'm pretty sure there will be another driver shining there.
Well, I got to say, I'm very pleased to be joined by our race winner. Ronha is with us. Ronha, what a drive. You had the pace. You certainly cultivated a perfect strategy. It worked out towards the end despite the changes we witnessed in the race. It was crazy, wasn't it?
Yeah, honestly, I wasn't sure if the Haas were going to make it to the end, but I felt like if I stayed out, the guys behind me would have pit. So I took the risk and pit, which at the end paid off. And then from there on, it was just, the DRS train. I was at the front. And then the second safety car came out, and I thought I was 100% sure that the softs were the best side to go. They were just so much faster than the old hards. Jake stayed out. I wasn't quite sure why he did that, but yeah. Anyway, I took the win, and I'm very happy with it.
Yeah, I mean, a tricky start to your season. Obviously, we haven't looked like winning races at all since the start of the season. But coming into Spa, obviously a different track, different circuit to what we've seen all season, far more complex. I mean, what does it mean to start on pole in a race like the Belgian Grand Prix? Because certainly at Spa, it's not easy, is it?
No, it isn't. It's the longest lap. It's quite hard to hook everything together, and manage to get within half a tenth of my PB on my last run. My quality lap was quite remarkable for me. It was very good. Pretty much no mistakes in it. So yeah, to start on pole, I thought I had the pace to, get the win maybe, and yeah, I took it.
Well, towards the end of the going towards the end of that race, obviously after the last safety car, obviously you had a penalty applied to your name. You instantly drew out a 2.5 second advantage on Antoine, which was quite surprising, certainly from the commentary box. Was that just a conscious effort for you to try and break the penalty gap, just to solidify your P1?
No, I was quite sure I was gonna get it removed because it was a safety car. Instead with Jonas, he hit me very slightly, and we both got a 5 second penalty. So I wasn't really trying to get out of the 5 seconds, so I was just riding my pace really. So yeah.
Well, it was a great effort nonetheless, and of course that puts you up to P2 in the championship. Obviously, looking ahead, still it's wide open. We've still got pretty much half a season ahead. What's your confidence like heading into the Temple of Speed at Monza next week, and also the rest of the season? Do you feel confident?
I'll just practice and see what my pace is like, and yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Well, got to say, great drive nonetheless, and congratulations on a P1. Well done.
Thank you.
Thank you. Onwards now towards Jake. I think we got Jakey B with us in the live chat. Jake, pleasure to have you with us, of course, and obviously a great P2 performance from yourself. You didn't have it all your own way. It was a tough race. I have to say, I wasn't going to back you on the tyres that you had, given the fact that you stayed out on the hards. Just talk us through it. I bet you were clenching towards the end of that race. Don't seem to be getting an audio feed off Jakey, unfortunately. He's currently not being heard, so we will await to see if he does come back. We have got, I believe, another man with us. So, Big Rosa, of course, as part of the McLaren team. Flying Rozzy, how you doing, my man? Great podium performance.
Thank you very much.
Well done, well done. I got to say, an impressive performance from yourself. You were very much in that top-end fight. And you had lots to worry about because you had Keaton Lutt behind you, probing as well, and obviously what was going on in front of you. Was it hard to keep? Was it hard to keep yourself in tow? Was it hard to keep the position with Keaton Lutt probing and really breathing down your neck? I think we've lost him as well. Are you there, Miles? I think we've lost everybody. Incredible. I'm not sure whether Discord is having a moment here, but we are not hearing anything at this moment in time. I'm not sure whether you guys can hear us in the chat box, but we are experiencing some technical difficulties by the sounds of it. Very odd. If you can hear me, obviously please say, but looking at it on paper, we're unable to get the audio feeds at all. We'll try it again. Flying Rozzy, how can you hear me? Miles, can you hear me? We seem to have lost all our audio feeds here, folks. So obviously, that's, I think, brings an end to our video on stream but not on Discord. No, okay, interesting, I have to say. It does look like we have got a disconnection in the commentary box, so I'm not sure, folks. We will have to bring this to an end. But I have to say, thanks, everybody, for being with us here today. Obviously, it's been a huge pleasure. Myself and Mars have really enjoyed bringing the race coverage to you. Obviously, please leave a like and obviously subscribe to the World Online Racing channel. And obviously stay up to date with all racing that's due to be planted upon us for the near future. Of course, we're going to be heading to the Temple of Speed, Monza, for our next race. That, of course, commencing on May 17th. But not forgetting as well, it's PlayStation Fridays this week, of course. We're going to be back here at Spa for the PlayStation side of the Belgian Grand Prix. So from me and Mars, be sure to check us out on Twitter. Check out WOR at WOR League. And also check me out as well, George Morgan TV on Twitter. Feel free to pop over, drop me a message or say hello. You're more than welcome. And also, you can check out TSR Miles as well, at TSR Miles. That is Miles, my co-commentator. Check him out and you can speak to him as well. But from me, George Morgan, and of course Miles, we'll see you next time. Goodbye.